As someone who's currently doing a PhD, I don't really speak to people outside of, people who are not doing a PhD about my PhD because they're not going to understand. I'm not going to go to the average everyday person and talk or try to ask them for advice on how to submit or how to successfully publish an article in a journal because they will just be looking at me like, what, right? They don't have the contextual background to understand what the hell I'm talking about. Likewise, if you're a very attractive woman, I wouldn't talk about pretty punishment with people who are not also very attractive or people who don't know that they're very attractive, even if they are very attractive. Because they're not going to understand what the hell you're talking about. They are going to misinterpret you. They're going to tell you that it's all in your head. Even though these same people, most of them actually enact pretty punishment on others. And I'm very sure they do because literally almost everybody I meet enacts pretty punishment against me. So there's no way. So I think people don't really think about how they're abusing pretty people because they've already dehumanized pretty people and they have it in their heads that they're the only ones hurting you. No, everybody else is glazing you. So they don't even think about it. They just do it and just move on with their lives. So even if somebody else is talking to them about pretty punishment, they don't make that connection because it was like an everyday thing to them. It was like taking a bin out. They're not going to remember that specific day when they took the bin out 2 years ago on a Tuesday. Okay. So either way, it's futile speaking to most people who haven't experienced it. Even if they're open to listen and to kind of hear you, eventually, because pretty punishment it invades every aspect of your life. It invades every moment of your life. Okay, so eventually they will get to the point where they're tired of listening to that shit, and they would probably just be like, "Oh my god, like there's no way all of this is happening to you. Nobody's that beautiful." Blah 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 blah. Again, they don't understand, so don't bother. Don't waste your breath. So the only time I may talk about it is maybe if I want to explain to somebody why I can't keep a job, somebody who's close to me. So it doesn't look like, I'm just kind of going around effing up job opportunities. So I may explain in very precise moments where it's important for my reputation. But apart from that, I learned pretty quickly not to really talk about it, which was very difficult because I was going through it at a very young age. But the internet was actually very helpful in helping me find other women and and people in general who validated my experiences and made me feel like I'm not crazy. So that is why videos like these are also very important because, as a beautiful woman or even a man, if there are men watching this, you can watch these videos and be like, okay, yeah, 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 like I'm not crazy. There are people who have the same experience, blah blah blah, right? And you can also like get things like tips, advice, guidance, and so on. Because again, you can't go to the average person and ask for help because they don't know what you're talking about. They've never experienced it. They can't give you specific guidance. Half the time, they don't even believe you. But if you speak to or if you watch videos or or pretty people who've been through something similar, they will be able to give you advice on how to actually handle situations that you come across.